Hello everyone, my name is Chris Goode and I help people transform the pain of a breakup into a life of power and purpose. So if you find yourself stuck and unable to move forward post-breakup and you're just reeling in the pain, then this is going to be the video for you. Because today we're going to be talking about self and why this is such an important topic when it comes to being stuck and unable to move past the pain that you're experiencing following your relationship. Have you ever experienced this before when someone broke up with you and you find yourself pursuing that person, trying to get them back, doing everything that you can to earn back their love? Well, one thing that we don't often take notice is that we're pursuing unreciprocated love. We're pursuing someone who is not reciprocating our efforts. And as a result, it can be really harmful to our well-being and our psyche. And the reason for this is because it's confirming an underlying belief that we are not enough. That's communicating that you can put in the effort, but you're not worth the effort being reciprocated. And that's to say that you're not worth the effort being reciprocated. Now notice why that can be such a damaging thing for yourself. Because when you find yourself struggling to let go of this person, what's ultimately being communicated to yourself is that I don't really matter here. And I know that can be a very painful thing to hear. And what ends up happening is it's a very unconscious thing. It means deep down inside, somewhere, for some reason, maybe it was somewhere with your childhood, maybe it was something that you came to believe about yourself, but it's that you're not worthy of the same love and attention and affection and care that you give to other people. And that might have been as a result of maybe your relationship with your parents, or it could have been from a past relationship or past romantic relationship. It could have even been from some sort of toxic friendship where you were giving a lot to the friend, but they were not really giving anything to you. And you end up finding yourself in this pattern of giving more than enough and never really receiving. And these people who tend to take advantage of that, they can spot that. They can see that vulnerability within you. And that's why perhaps some of you who are listening to this right now and can see that, you're like, oh my gosh, like I was in a narcissistic relationship, or I was with somebody who just took so much advantage of me. I don't want you to get the impression that it's like there's something fundamentally wrong with you. That's not the case at all. It's simply that you are not worth the same amount of effort that you give to other people. And that's tragic because what you'll find is unbalanced relationships where there's just an unhealthy level of or a lack of reciprocity where you're giving and you're never actually receiving. And what you'll end up finding is that can be very deteriorating. And what it constantly communicates to you is that you don't matter. So the question is, how do you move past this? Well, one, you have to take notice of it. When it comes to any sort of issue of this nature, it's the awareness that's the key. It's recognizing that there is a problem when it comes to the way that you see yourself and your relationships with others. And what's tragic with this is that you may be doing things that are actually self-sabotaging and continually causing this belief within you to maintain itself because you're looking for confirmation that this belief is true. And it's simply a normal psychological tendency of humans. It's human nature. The actual term for this is confirmation bias, where we seek out evidence to support our views, our experience of the world. And so if you have something unconscious where you believe that you're not worth it, you're going to take actions that are going to align with that and confirm your belief. I'll give you another example just so that way you can really understand this. If somebody believes that things are hopeless, then they're never going to take action, because why would you do anything? You can never actually make things better. And what ends up happening is that belief that things are hopeless causes them to take certain actions or not take actions, which in turn validates the belief. And so if you find yourself constantly giving to people who are never giving back to you, deep down inside, that's saying you're not enough. And so the way to fix that problem is understand it's there, and then it's consciously, at least in one aspect, taking action to stop that habit, to stop doing the things that are causing you to create those experiences in your life. It might mean setting boundaries, saying no to people. It may mean cutting people off and saying like, look, I'm not gonna have this kind of relationship anymore. This is unhealthy for me. It means that you have to start prioritizing yourself in a healthy way, not to the detriment of others, but there needs to be something that's mutual. And you need to start spotting out when your relationships aren't mutual. Now, this is not to say that relationships are going to be perfectly reciprocal. Sometimes there's imbalances. Sometimes you're going to be giving a lot, and sometimes you're going to be taking a lot. The important thing is recognizing the pattern. Is there a pattern of reciprocity in the first place, or is it you constantly giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving until there's nothing left? And that's probably what you feel like. When you give so much, you feel like nothing. And that's why this is such a critical thing, because when you start to take back your power, start to recognize the ways in which this behavior is affecting you, you'll start to feel so much better about yourself, because people will be giving to you in a healthy way, because you'll be receiving from people who genuinely want to take care of you and genuinely want to love you. Now, if you find that this is really difficult, you don't have to start with all your relationships. You just need to start with one. It's taking some action instead of no action. And it's being kind and compassionate to yourself along the way. Because if you're gonna focus on taking action to change your experience, then that is going to be a journey. It's going to take time. It's not easily undone in a matter of days. This is something that is a project. It's going to take a month or two, at least, to get into the habits needed to start changing your experience. But as you continue to do that, over time, your life is going to transform. Because when you start pursuing reciprocated love, when you start seeking out people who reciprocate your efforts, instead of pursuing people who dismiss you, who ignore you, who take advantage of you, then the way that you feel about yourself is going to absolutely transform. And it's going to shine. And people will see it, and they will feel it, and they will know it. And you're going to attract more of those people into your life. What an incredible experience. Now, if you want to speed up this process, and you're just tired of going through the same thing over and over again, then this is where something like hypnotherapy can come in, where you can go under the hood into the unconscious and to seek out the things that actually brought this belief about and undo them, so that way you can actually start to change immediately. I personally do a form of hypnotherapy called advanced conversational hypnosis. And so it seems a lot like a conversation, but what ends up happening is we take a deep dive into the unconscious, so that way the stuff that's buried deep within, the things that you're not talking about consciously, are going to come to the surface, and you'll find the root of the actual problem. And that's why an issue like this can actually be fixed within a single session. But if you don't have the funds to invest in something like that, or you don't feel comfortable with something like hypnotherapy, then taking consistent action is going to be the next best thing to transform your experience. It's the expansion of awareness and then the taking of effective action. Recognize your patterns, see where you're going wrong, see what you're doing, and then do what's necessary to move. You can actually transform your life. How does that sound? I think that's great, and I think it's time. So thank you all for watching this video. If there's any sort of constructive feedback you'd like to offer, or you have any comments to make, drop them in the comments section. Please subscribe for more, and until next time, take care.